guys, and welcome back to the Motor Recon podcast. I'm your host, Adam. I'm joined again today by Rob, as you will see. What we're going to do today is a little bit of a topic that's always interested us. So it's similar to what we've done in the past. So we're going to look at some of the base spec cars of certain categories, and then we're going to see what you can get on the second-hand market. However, this time the difference is it has to be a car from the same manufacturer, but just say like a model up or something like that. So to kick things off, we're going to look at the new 1 Series. Now, arguably not a fan of this car, but nevertheless, we'll look at it. So, the base spec one is the BMW 118i. So, what do you get for that then? So, you get a 1.5 litre engine, 140 horsepower, top speed 132 mile an hour, not 16, 8.5 seconds. But it's the extras and stuff like that you get with it. So, this one starts at a price where I did see it. Can you see it now, Rob?
If you just scroll down a bit, potentially.
It was there. I've lost it now. I think it was 20. It was 25,050 quid. I remember.
Yeah, it was £25,000 there or thereabouts. So, I don't actually think it's that bad, in some respects.
No, it could be a lot more expensive. And to be honest, I was expecting it to be closer to 30 than 25. Obviously, the one they've got in the picture there is the M135, which you definitely do not get for £25,000.
No, absolutely not. And that is something you do need to consider when we're looking at this, because what we've gone for is the base spec of whatever model you want brand new. So you really are going to get bottom of the bin sort of basic entry-level features. So you won't get the stylings that are ideal. I actually think in the M model stylings, the new 1 Series, I've actually warmed to it a little bit in the M stylings. I don't know about yourself.
Yeah, with the M packages on and things like that, it does look a little bit better. I still don't think I'd have one, but it does look better.
And especially when you consider the new 4 Series, which we're definitely going to do an episode on that, because the front end on that thing is, oh boy.
Well, someone's done a render of that as well with a normal grille on it, and it just looked a lot better. So, yeah, we'll cover that in another episode.
But the point is, this doesn't have that ridiculous grille, and I like it for it.
Yeah, and because it's a much smaller car, I don't think they could have fit it on. So, you've got all sorts of things on here, so you don't get much for your money, as we're saying. Again, they don't really have any pictures of the basic ones. So we were having.
But I mean, why would they?
No, you're just going to try and entice people in, aren't you? But so what we thought we'd do is we'd go straight onto Auto Trader, our good trustworthy one, and for £25,000, we thought the best car you could get from BMW, as a model up, is this. Now, 2019 plate or 19 reg, so it's just over a year old here in the UK. But fundamentally, it is the new shape 3 Series. So it's not an older shape or anything, it is the new one.
It is. If anyone saw you bombing about in that, they would just expect that you bought that from new, frankly.
Yeah, it's probably an ex-demo car, something like that, but that's nevertheless. It's a 320 M Sport, which is already a higher model than the base spec as standard. And
as you say, so already you're getting a massive styling boost.
Yeah, because you've got all that stuff.
Just straight out the gates. I think the new 3 Series looks particularly good from the rear.
Yeah, I do as well. That's what I say. I've moved on to the rear. So that's my favourite feature is the back end. You get twin pipes on it, which adds to that aggressiveness as well. The little scoops and events just give that aggressive look.
How many miles does this one have, Adam?
So this particular one has only done 8,158 miles. So
it's bugger all.
It's nothing. It's essentially a brand new car. I say it's in a lovely blue as well, which I do actually like that colour. I would not turn my nose up at it. And crucially, you get a lot of the new stuff on the interior. So as you can see, you get the digital dash here. You've got your big display.
Yeah, I think this is where it really stands up, actually.
Dual zone climate control, as you can see, which I'm sure you get that on the 1 Series, but even still. Decent size wheels, what we're talking there. That looks. I can't see the size. Is that? Can't read it on there. My eyes don't read that very well.
No, neither can I, but they're not terrible.
No, decent wheels. So you get full leather seats throughout the car, which I think is
nice lumbar support in that as well.
Nice feature. It is the automatic gearbox, which if you're into that, that's obviously for you. You've got the iDrive system, which obviously you will get on the 1 Series, but you get the bigger screen here. Cruise control, speed limit setting, all your voice commands, everything you could need. It's a brand new car.
Yeah. I think this is cracking, and for me, if I was in the market, it would be a bit of a no-brainer, actually.
Yeah, absolute no-brainer. Why would you spend £25,000 on an absolute base spec 1 Series when you can get a car?
And I might add as well, we're looking at the coupe right now. I'm assuming that for similar money, you'd be able to get the estate version of this as well. If you're looking for that hatchback and the extra boot space and practicality.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm sure you could, or even if it's only like £400-500 more. It's the basic 1 Series was actually over 25 grand just, so you could stretch that a little bit further. But it's just an absolute no-brainer. I don't know why you would spend the same money on a brand new 1 Series, which, let's face it, doesn't look as good. A personal opinion, I know.
No, not at all. No.
Yeah, it doesn't look as good. You don't get as much equipment, and it's slower as well. I mean, this one in particular, being the 320M Sport, so you can have a look on here. Look, you get 181 brake horsepower, so you're already like 50 up there. 7.17 seconds to 62 and 146 top speed. Absolutely more than ample.
I would say that this is the section where BMW really excel. Not in hatchbacks, not in 4x4s, not in crossovers. When I think of BMW and the things I want from BMW, I want a fast saloon.
Yeah.
Because that's what I feel the brand does. It does that best.
Yeah. Handle well, look okay, and I mean they are well built. There's another few reliability problems with them, but you're not going to complain for the money. Why would you not get that over the 1 Series?
Yeah, but the finish in that 3 Series looks great.
Yeah, big step up over the last one. Big step up.
Yeah, we like that very much.
Yeah,
I think it's safe to say.
I'll let you go kick off the next one, Rob. So this one, another German one.
Yep, so this is the new A-Class. Like you say, it's a Peugeot space. It's the Peugeot basic spec for what you can get. And what was the starting price on this one, Adam?
This was pretty much exactly the same. So it was around...
But even on the road price of about £25,000.
£25,000. So you don't...
Yeah.
You don't get much for the money.
No, if we scroll... Oh, hold on. No, actually, we've got a retail offer here of £21,000, actually. So they are looking at, and that is actually something to take into consideration. As we're recording this podcast, we are in the midst of the coronavirus pandemic. And in the UK, at least, car garages have started opening up again. So you may well get decent retail offers on brand new cars, actually. Yeah. So although the technical on-the-road price is a little over £25,000, this garage is offering you to drive it out of there for £21,800.
Yeah.
So that is something to consider.
It is. One thing I will say, though, sorry, just to interrupt there, the interior on the basic 1 Series, which you have been in, while it does have them dual screens as standard, they are the absolutely tiny ones with the huge bezels. You don't get any of the fancy stuff like you do on the bigger Mercedes or a higher spec one A-Class. Sorry.
Okay. Well, if we look at the performance of this one, though, I'm guessing it's nothing that'll set the world alight. Yeah, so 136 horsepower from a 1.4 litre engine by the looks of it, and that's going through a 7-speed automatic gearbox. Again, this isn't the sports variant; it's just the SE. It's your entry-level stuff. So yes, you do get your discount down to about £22,000.
But
the wheels off the bottom of the sofa and none of the alloy finish and all the toys that you would want in the interior either.
No, and that's where I think the kicker would be. So normally we're going to go off the price that this car was that it should be. Obviously, if you're excluding the retail offers. Because that's just a garage that's actually not that far away from us. That's not every dealership. So that is something to again.
Yeah, but as you say, I think it is definitely worth mentioning though that obviously garages may offer you deals on brand new cars that will obviously make them more competitive to buy. But yeah, that's something to consider.
Yeah. So the one we thought with this again, we're going off the on the road price, which was £25,000. So I mean. What else do you need?
Yeah.
C-Class estate, 24,789. It's only done 428 miles. It's a new car.
Yeah. I mean, you can't really get much newer than that. That is literally just the ex-showroom model type deal, isn't it?
To me, it is just slightly before the facelifted it. It's 68 plate, but it's still 2019, crucially.
However, and I would add as well, though, as you say, it's 2019 crucially, which means obviously when it comes into factory warranty, for example, it gives you some time on that front.
Yeah.
But It's interesting because I don't think the Merc facelift for the C-Class is quite as dramatic as the BMW C-Class for the
No,
facelift for, say, the 1 Series.
no, the interior is where they improved the most. The looks wise, it's pretty similar, to be honest.
Yeah, because frankly, I might add, when I'm looking at C classes from like 2014 onwards or whatever, they look, from the outside at least, pretty modern still to me. They've held up quite well.
Yeah, I would agree with you. Yeah. But I say, I
Yeah, but
don't
you're right, it's the interior which has been hugely improved. But let's have a look at the interior on this one.
Yeah. So you do get your full. Oh, so just to mention as well, this is the estate one, so it is a very, very much more practical car.
Yeah.
But you also get your 9-speed gearbox, so it's two more. But you do get the old interior on the Merc. But you do get the digital dash, which, quite frankly, is a good system, and the big screen in the middle. That's the bit I'm not quite a fan of. But
It may be the old interior, but it doesn't look ancient. It's not like, when the Mark 7 Fiesta was getting to the end of its run and the interior really was starting to look very last gen.
yeah,
This doesn't give you that feeling, at least.
no, I'd agree with you. It still looks quite fresh and quite modern.
Yeah.
And obviously,
Yeah.
with only 400 odd miles on the clock, it's barely been used. Um, I do like the digital dash. I'd say I have nothing against it. You got your G meter as well in the middle there on the right hand side if you're into that sort
Well,
of
I'm
stuff.
assuming those are customizable for
Yeah, I'm
whatever
pretty sure you'll
configuration
be
you'd
because
want.
it looks like it is because the rev counters on the outside of it you can see there. So I'm assuming you can change the middle bit on both, perhaps.
And yeah, I mean, this one, I think that it's decidedly less aesthetically pleasing than the
Yeah,
3 Series,
particularly the
especially when
wheels.
we get to stuff like this.
Yeah, the wheels they're the eco wheels, aren't they? So
Yeah, so
it stops the air around the outside of the wheels, doesn't it?
so it'll improve economy.
Yeah, if you're into that. But these cars generally are used by reps on the motorway all the time anyway, aren't they? So
And I'll say, speaking of economy, it only has a 1.5 litre engine, this thing, as well, apparently.
it does. Now that's actually the bit I was going to mention on this one. It actually has more power than the Beamer from a 1.5. It's got nearly 200 brake horsepower.
Yeah, it's impressive, that.
Yeah, and 146. Similar top speed and similar acceleration, but heavier. It's bigger. Um,
Yeah.
and it is more powerful.
So I think for me, if we're comparing the on-the-road prices for these, I think it's a no-brainer that I would go for the 3 Series over the brand new one.
And for 300 quid, you could change the wheels.
But yeah, exactly, and that's the thing. Obviously, the particular Merc that we were looking at from a local dealership was offering you for that 21. But I think if I lowered my price cap down to 21 on the used market, I'd still find a nice C-Class that I would still probably purchase over a brand new one for me.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I'd do the same thing. And look at that. Look at the legroom there. Plenty of legroom, nice flush carpets, lights underneath it, rear air conditioning, the lot. You can't really grumble at that, especially for that
No,
price.
I don't think you can complain particularly with this
No,
one either.
heated,
Neither you can with the
no
3 Series. You're getting a good deal.
heated seats in that crucially as well.
Yeah.
That could be a. I love my heated seats, so it saved me a lot. But I do like that. Yeah, very good one. I probably would have that over the A class, and I would spend the extra £300 I've saved on some better wheels.
Yes.
So, next in the line, seeing as we were sticking to entry level cars, we thought it only fair when we got to Audi that we do the A1, because Mercedes and Beamer don't offer a car of this size. So we thought we'd just stick to the goals to see what we can actually get for that money, and you'll be very pleasantly surprised.
Now, I know that the new A1 isn't a car that particularly floats our boat, does it, Adam?
No, interior big step up over the last one. You do get the digital dashboard as standard, which is big credit to Audi on that front.
Indeed. Indeed.
Don't like the basic looks of it, as in the wheels are horrendous. I'm not so keen on the outside of the car. The back's better than the front, but not a massive
My
fan.
issue comes when the price really starts to hike up. Obviously, it's 18,460 for the base model, but as you can see, if you toggle through some of the pictures at the top there, Adam, we can get an idea of what the base sort of looks like. And yeah, it's not really particularly striking, I would say. And the interior, although you do get the digital dashboard, I think there are certain features missing from it that.
Yeah, it doesn't show you the interior, unfortunately. But yeah, so you do get the digital dash as standard, which again, big credit to them. It is a fantastic system. and I think they've done a good job there. So just for this one, it's 18,460. So we did 18,000 just to be a little bit less. Now on the A1 in particular, now I couldn't find too much information about the actual car, but you do get, say, Apple CarPlay as well as standard. Looking at that, but not much in the terms of engine-wise and things like that. So we went to Auto Trader again, and we found this. Oh, sorry, we bumped it up to 19 grand. Sorry, just for the extra 500. But this one I think is a no-brainer.
Yeah, I mean the Audi A4. It's not a particularly common car I see anymore.
No,
it seems to be an overlooked model now.
Yeah, I think a lot of people now buy the A5, which is essentially the same car with a different body shell on it, or because the offers
or the A3 and save a bit of money,
or the A3 Saloon, which again is exactly the same car, pretty much, just slightly smaller, and it's the one I had, but it wasn't any less practical, really.
I have a soft spot for the A4, actually.
Yeah. Me too. I think
I was a fan of the A4 back in like the mid 2000s. I loved that generation of A4. So I do still have a soft spot for it. And this one in particular doesn't look too bad at all, to be honest.
No, this is
like I say, again, I think where you're making your money back is on a nicer looking exterior and a much nicer interior. Although it is key to point out that this one doesn't have a digital dash, which, if that's something that is critical to you, it will knock you off the list. It's not to me. It looks like it has a nice digital display between the dials, so I wouldn't be too offended by that.
And it has the semi-modern screen on the thing as well, which is slightly dated, but it is a manual, which I think is also important. Huge boot, absolutely vast boot, as you'd expect.
I think this is a proper Autobahn cruiser sort of. I know you might call it quote unquote like Retmobile, but I don't necessarily see them as that. I actually think they're more than that. I really do like the A4.
Yeah, and I think, to be fair, credit where it's due, it's a good looking car. The wheels are something to be desired, but there's nothing wrong with them. But crucially, it's only done just under 3,000 miles, which for 19 grand, you're getting a decent thing there. But so the engine and performance wise, 150 horsepower, give or take, top speed of 139 and 8.6 seconds. So again, much more.
It's more than enough.
Yeah, much more than you get on the basic A1. But again, it is a bigger car. You're not going to need any more than that. And I do like the steering.
So again, I agree with you, Adam. I think this is a no-brainer for the car that I would choose out of the two of them. If I wanted the practicality of the 1 Series, so the A1 and I wanted a hatchback, I would go for the A3 and obviously continue to save myself a great deal of money. Or maybe go for an older A6, potentially.
Yeah,
maybe chance my arm at that.
The A3s hold their value better than the A4s, but I think that's just because they're more popular.
Yeah, people want them more potentially because, as you say, I don't see that many new A4s knocking about.
It's a pointless car now. There's no need for it really, if you think about it, because you can get an A3 Saloon or you can get an A5, which is essentially the same size car.
I think it gives people options on both sides of the price point of the A4. If you want a cheaper version of the A4, you go for the A3. If you want a plusher version of the A4, you go for the A5. And both of those have just eaten into its market.
Yeah, I'd agree. And because you can get a 5-door A5 now, which our friends just bought.
And that sloping roofline makes it look more aesthetically appealing. I can see why people do that.
Yeah, it's like I say, it's just one of them things, isn't it? Unfortunately, I think the A4 might end up having a slow death, but it's one of them things. But I'd have it over the A1, no questions asked.
Agreed.
So this is the one where I think it gets a little bit more realistic. I mean, people obviously can afford these cars; it's not a thing. But we thought we'd go for the budget more end of the market, the cheaper brands. So first one, our class favourite, a car that we both own, that we both really like, and again, I can't see myself getting anything other than another Fiesta next. It is the basic Fiesta. Now, I've driven the basic one. I had it as a courtesy car from the garage when my car was in for a service. Cracking little thing, handled very nicely, as they all do. Obviously, it's a bit slow because it's got no power, but you get the 1.1 litre petrol engine with 75 horsepower. Nothing, but it is a small car. Again,
You see, this is the thing. I think it looks all right.
yeah, the basic wheels look okay, albeit a tiny bit small. But what do you expect? The body kit,
I'm all right.
you get the standard little spoiler thing, which looked quite nice, decent looking bodywork. Nothing to complain about, I don't think, on that front.
Agreed.
And you even get obviously the nice full round eye LED headlights. You don't get much on the interior, so you do get like DAB radio and all the gubbins like that. But it's not the big sort of 8 or 10-inch colour screen. It is colour screen, but a bit smaller one. So this one, 16 grand starting price. You probably will never pay that, but we are going on these numbers. So what can you get on the second-hand market from Ford from a model up? And we found this, and actually save yourself 2 grand in the process.
There were tons knocking around at this sort of price, I might add.
Yeah, and I'll just say, all the cars we have found so far are all 2019, so they're only a year old.
Yeah.
Essentially new. Now, this one I do particularly like, because it is the ST line, so it's the same model you've got, but in the Focus, not the Fiesta, and also has the 125 horsepower engine, which my brother has in his Focus, and it's more than enough, even though the car is a little bit bigger.
And I might add as well, compared to the 1.1 litre 4-pot that you get in these base standard Fiesta, that EcoBoost will also be a lot more economical, I would expect as well.
Absolutely. And you do on this. Now, this is where the big step up is, because you get the modern big screen on it, which you don't get on the basic Fiesta, I know that. Someone has ticked the option for the CD player because, well, I don't know why. I don't know why anyone would do that, but you have it there.
It wouldn't put me off.
No, it doesn't put you. It's an option that's there, isn't it, if you need to. So you've got your cruise control, voice commands, a really nice manual 6-speed gearbox, which you now do get in the Fiesta, but it is also in the Focus. It looks like down there you get all your air conditionings, climate control, everything you could need, and a lovely flat bottom steering wheel as well. Leather flat bottom steering wheel.
I mean, for me, this is like I would, as a matter of fact, if I needed additional interior space on my next car, this would be a very real contender.
Yeah, and it's a nice, decent enough colour. I don't mind. It's not my favourite, but
Not the worst at all, though.
I quite like the wheels. Again, could be doing a little bit bigger, but again, nothing wrong with them. And it's only done.
And as you said, I might add the slightly larger sidewalls as well. Will help with, as you say, you get ride comfort out of that as well.
Yeah.
So.
And it's only done 5,000 miles, which again, nothing, absolutely nothing. In a year.
Yeah, so for me, I think this one is one of the biggest no-brainers out of all the ones we've seen today.
Yeah.
Save yourself a couple of grand. You get in a nearly new Focus, which is a bigger, more practical car. You get a newer-looking interior with all of the features included in it.
Yeah.
Where is the downside here?
Yeah, exactly. And I say another thing as well is with the Focus, you didn't like the looks of it when it first came out as much, but it's sort of grown on me now. And
I would agree so as well. I think that the looks have. I think once you start putting ST clobber on it, that's when it starts coming round. Like the ST line is the one that I feel has made me come round to it.
So yeah, Focus for me, massively improved the looks over the years. I think it's definitely grown on me. More practical, decent spec. Save yourself 2 grand. Again, I think another no-brainer on this one.
Agree.
I think absolutely. So on to the next one, a last little one, but one of our probably favourite little modern cars at the moment.
I would concur.
Yeah, is this. So the new Peugeot 208. I'll let you.
Yeah, I think that I really do like the new 208, and I would say that I really, really like the new 508. That is a very handsome car.
Yeah, very handsome car. The 208, I must say, in this particular base spec, the active spec, again, certain features on it, which I know they do it intentionally, but certain features on it are something to be desired, i.e. the alloy wheels and things like that. But again, if you exclude the looks of the wheels, it's still a very handsome looking little car.
Yeah, and like you say, I think it is. It's for. I feel that it is now actually a legitimate rival for the Fiesta.
Yeah.
And I think it's also a rival for the A1 as well.
Yeah, I'd have both over an A1 personally, but
Yeah, me too.
But so what do you get for your money then? Look, so this is what we're looking at the basic engine. So it's only 75 horsepower like the Fiesta, but this is from a 1.2 rather than a 1.1. So it's actually a slightly
Yeah,
bigger engine, but producing the same amount of power. But yeah, I think that's probably something you could get used to. I can't imagine it
yeah.
being very quick. The basic Fiesta did feel a little bit nippy, and I'm sure this one will feel nippy as well. Even though you're not actually going fast, it's just that feeling of going fast.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think what's interesting is, like you say, I think when we went on Auto Trade, it was a 308, wasn't it, that we ended up with? So
Yeah. So this is the car we sort of did. So again, this is cheaper because what was the 2.8? It was 16,845.
yeah,
So this you're actually saving yourself nearly £1,000. Not quite, but you're getting yourself the bigger model, so the 308. So this is a direct rival for the Focus again, size wise, everything like that. But
I think this one though particularly falls down on the interior. Actually,
yeah,
I'm not so sure about that.
I don't know why a lot of the French manufacturers did this. They put the steering wheel down here and all the stuff up here, which fair enough, it might be on line with your eye level, but aesthetically, it's not very nice at all.
No, and this is actually one of those occasions where I would actually try and spend my 16 grand on a used, better spec 205, the 208 actually.
Yeah, I would as well. But say some things on the interior I don't mind. Like I say, it's got partial leather seats, which again you don't get on the basic Peugeot. Just around the edge, or is it cloth? It looks like leather in the front. No, it's cloth, isn't it?
I think it's cloth
No,
actually,
it is
but
cloth. Might be that central bit.
yeah.
But they are stylish seats. You've got the contrast red stitching and all that kind of stuff, and decent enough amount of room. Just that position of the steering wheel and the dials that let it down.
Well, just a little off, isn't it?
Yeah, big boot though, very big boot.
Yeah, yeah.
Can't complain at that. Now them alloy wheels are much nicer.
Agreed.
I do really like those. I think they're quite an aggressive styling. But this is the GT line, so you expect a bit of the body kit on it. Sat nav, reverse camera.
But yeah, what I would do is I would certainly spring for a 208 of a nicer spec for a similar price for me. I wouldn't go up in size because I actually think the interior of the new 208 is a little nicer than that. Actually,
yeah. Now I do like the big panoramic roof, which I don't think you'll get on the 208, but nice feature. You get Apple CarPlay, which I think you do get standard on the Peugeot now, but like cruise control, everything like that. It's got a lot of kit on it. Don't get me wrong. And it's only done 5,600 miles, and it's a 69 plate. So that in the UK means that it came out from September onwards in 2019. So it's at the newer end of the market.
yeah.
So what do you get engine wise on this? You get 130 brake, 9.4 seconds, 128 mile an hour. Ample enough, but I think ample enough. Yeah, but I think I'm on your side with this. I'd go for a second-hand better spec 208 if I was in the market.
And if I'm comparing this to the new Focus, it's just a no-brainer to go for the Focus. It's cheaper, has a more economical engine, produces more power, has a nicer interior, is more practical, and to my eye, better looking.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I'd agree with you on that front. But it's nice. That I think is a nice place to round us up there. It is very interesting, like I say, what you can get on the second-hand market for the same price, if not less, than what you pay for the base model of a new car. And it's something that a lot of people, I think, should consider. Not only is it actually better for the environment to get a car that's already built and already running, but you are also technically getting a better car for your money and a bit more car.
yes, and you're not really sacrificing very much to do so when we're looking at this segment.
They're all
usually the latest model, usually have the latest interior, are on low enough miles that you wouldn't notice.
Yeah, and they're all of them still under manufacturer's warranty for a number of years. It's not like it's going to run out next week. It's literally got for 2 or 3 years. Some even offer 5 years, so you'll get 4 years warranty running on that. So absolutely fantastic. I think that's a good place to round us up. So thank you for listening. But we do have another listener recommended episode next week. So we'll see you then for that.
Yep.
See you later.
See you in a bit.